bent and kind of bent a little. Please note. Excuse me. Now, the reason why you saw my legs, when they come up like this, and they bend like this, they're not like in jiu-jitsu where the legs are not straightened, not completely straightened, but a little bit bent. In this case, in Chinese Chin Na, you'll notice my legs were a little bit like this, in this manner. Maybe one leg in front of the other, or so forth, etc. You don't have to do that in one of you. Want to keep them perfect in tandem? Great, but you don't need to. The reason why the legs are bent like this, as again, since Chin Na was devised from an ancient Chinese battlefield art. Sadly, unfortunately, although it's evolved, if you will, into a very beautiful, peaceful art, its origins of Chin Na are not so peaceful. In fact, it's quite gruesome, if not gory. They were used by soldiers of ancient China's battlefields, where, if you will, one soldier would be attacking with a spear or sword. The soldier that practiced Chin Na, or its ancient version, if you will, would either parry and so forth, grab the sword, grab the individual, lock them up with an impromptu type of joint lock, stab, stab, and cut. As you can see, Chin Na was not a very nice art to begin with. It was a horrifying, barbaric, gruesome art, but it was done so to get the job done. Now, over 2,000 years later, it has evolved into a very peaceful and very wholesome and gentle, peaceful art. And in fact, violence is almost, not completely, but almost, it can be filtered out, if you will, of Chin Na. If you have a bad attitude, you got a chip on your shoulder, a short temper, I don't know if Chin Na can help you cure of it, but I can guarantee you, if you do have such an attitude, you will not go very far in the art, if at all, for that matter. Not the kind of art for you. Okay, therefore, back to the breakfall techniques. By rolling and keeping, if you will, the legs slightly bent. This can be done, if you will, in case an enemy is still coming at you. Like if you're on the ground like this, which is a very precarious and dangerous position. The legs are up like this, so you can kick, push away, and also by utilizing these piston-like movements, they will help you get momentum to possibly get back on your feet, get back on your knees, and then stand up and continue the fight. That's why the legs are slightly bent, for a defensive type of maneuver, and also, most important of all, get you back up on the feet. Bad idea to try to continue the fight on the ground. There's many different martial arts that do utilize, if you will, and emphasize on ground fighting. Chin Na does have some ground fighting. In fact, the ground fighting aspect of Chin Na is known as Ditan. Although we are taught how to fight in the ground, I was always taught, just because you know how, doesn't mean you should. It's emergency red alert mode and phase of combat that you know what to do, but also the best way that can make sure that you'll know what to do and stay remaining in that manner is to get back up on your feet so you won't get kicked and pounded into the ground, especially if you're dealing with more than one individual. All right, I'm going to go through once more the back break fall, and then we'll move on to the others. No talking. All right, I hope we got it down for the back break fall. Now, we're going to start the front break fall. I'm going to try to go over here. I hope you can hear me pretty well enough. And if you'll notice, I'm going to begin the break. That's the standing front forward break fall, where it looks like I'm going to fall on my face, but I'm not. I'm going to be starting on my knees. Very easy, if you will. If you want, you can go like this, stand up like this. Again, the back and straight, if you will. I tend to be like a little bit more lax. Sometimes I can, while I try to be, give my effort as much as possible, sometimes you can be a little bit lazy and cheat and go like this on the back of your heels, if you will, and sit back like that. You can do this break fall too that way. But in this case, I'll also I'll show you going up or erect more on your knees. Now, with this front break fall, what you're going to do, again, with the triangle thing with your hands I showed you earlier, same thing. Triangle with the hands, if you will. Try to keep the thumbs close to your hand as possible. If you want, you can make it almost look like a triangle, like looking through, but you don't really need to. Try to keep them as close to your palm, your hand as possible. Make the triangle formation not just with your hands, but also your whole arm. Make a triangle with your whole arm. And again, I'm going to lower, not drop. It may seem like I'm dropping at the last minute because I have no choice due to forward momentum, but lower. Let's go. And that's it. A simple motion. I'm going to do it again. Triangle motion. And I'm going to fall. Now, in some other grappling arts, you will find that, hey, Sifu, that's not the way to do it. Because when I practice some break falls, and when I learned how to fall, I would make this triangle, but I would turn my head at the last minute and fall like that. If you want to do that, great. But this is the way I was taught, where I wasn't taught to look away so much, or even at all for that matter. If you don't feel comfortable that way, and when you do your break fall, forward break fall, you may want to turn your face away like that and go to the ground. Great, I'll show you. There's no wrong way or right to do it. The best way to do it is the way that feels more comfortable to you, not me. I'll show you that way too. Triangle. Did you see what I did? I turned my head away. If you want to do that way, great. We'll go through it one more time. Again, on my knees are not together. They're out here about shoulder width. Make myself comfortable, make it up a little bit. Triangulate, make the arm formation with the triangle. And if you notice, it could be around my face level. Try not to make it go above your head like this, and especially don't get the hands like there to the chin where you won't have enough shock cushioning. And please note, when you notice I fall, I utilize the base, if you will, of my palm, if you will. Try not to use like too much where the thumb is, because although it's pretty meaty, you're probably thinking, not a good idea to fall completely on that, because the nerves here are very sensitive. Try to use the whole base, like a U, like this U part here at the palm. Not just this meaty part, because it'll hurt, it'll sting after a bit. And also, notice when I do the fall, as I lower, notice my hands go first, of course, and then notice my wrist. My wrists are kind of bent, so when it falls, lower, and then elbows. I've seen, thankfully, I've never seen it in real life, only like on video, of some individuals who would foolishly try to, unfortunately, would try to fall down, and they would use the whole side of the arm like that. And this was done on sidewalks or cement. And those individuals ended up cracking a part of their arm, or their elbow, or their wrist, or whatever it may be. So notice, it's like a 1, 2, 3. Not a 3. There's no such thing as all of it together at once. 1, 2, 3, like that, where it hits like with the bottom of the palms, then like the rest of your arm, if you will. The palms act like a shock cushion type of, or piston type of, or shock type of, if you will, like on a car or a truck, where it helps to cushion the car. You would do that. One more time. No talking. And that'll be the forward fall. Now, we're going to do the side fall, just as integral. Again, if you'll notice, you can either take your hands, make the triangle, like that, on the front like that, if you will, and again with the legs. Try not to make the legs too wide out. You don't need to do that if you do that. Just make it wide enough where it's more conducive for your training. You don't want to make it too wide out, because again, that'll promote bad training habits. You want to make sure, like, again, you want to do it in a more conducive type of manner, because again, you may be stifled. You may be like in an area like fighting. Unfortunately, if you're caught like in an alley or in a parking lot between cars, where you won't get the ideal fighting / battleground. Because in battle, nothing is certain. The fight happens and evolves the way it happens. So therefore, instead of complaining about it and try to fight in a certain way, learn how to adapt. Learn how to adapt and improvise. So therefore, we're going to try to keep our knees just pretty much about shoulder width apart. And now, what we're going to do is this. If you notice what I'm going to do, again, I'm going to, arms out. You don't have to go like this to the side if you will. If you want, great. I try to keep the arms out just enough to the side here like this, and watch what I'm going to do with my right leg. I'm going to fall to my right side, and watch what I'm going to do.